All right, here we go. According to Ian Rapoport of the NFL Network, the 49ers are taking calls about a Trey Lance trade. That's what we're talking about this morning on the 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, this is why you subscribe to the show. Whenever news breaks or there are some significant developments out there, I'm going to talk about it regardless of where I am at the Chat Sports Studios or here at the crib. And a reminder, join us on Friday as we celebrate surpassing 80,000 subscribers. Going to be going live, myself and producer Trizzy Trace, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. We really just want to go live to thank all of you for all of your support. Of course, the content is going to be pumped out, but we're also going to have a lot of fun on the show as well. So let's get to it here. I know a lot of you are just waking up. Ian Rapoport, NFL Network, reporting that according to sources, the 49ers have received inquiries from several teams looking into a potential trade for former number 3 pick Trey Lance. The conversations have been the result of San Francisco fielding the calls, not making them, with teams aware that Brock Purdy is likely the future starter. So the verbiage there, pretty important. Ian Rapoport continued by saying, while no trade is imminent, the 49ers would almost certainly want to make sure Brock Purdy's rehab continues to go as smoothly as it's been going. The interest from other teams in Lance has been there. The big caveat here, how quickly can Brock Purdy come off of that elbow surgery? He's already rehabbing pretty well, and he has already shed that monster brace that was on his elbow as he continues the rehabilitation process. And with this Trey Lance trade, I've been discussing this since the end of the season. It is a real possibility, and it would come as no surprise to me if the 49ers did trade Trey Lance. Why is that? Let's dissect it from everything from their roster construction, what they have said, but also some of their draft plans. And keep in mind, at the NFL Scouting Combine, John Lynch had an opportunity to shut down these Trey Lance trade rumors. He did not. He could have definitively said, we are not trading Trey Lance. He said, instead, we take calls about every player, and left open the door in trading Trey Lance. But you think about it, right? Why could Lance be dealt? It's the play and the development of Brock Purdy. 5-0 in the regular season, basically 6-0, because when he came in after Jimmy Garoppolo's injury, it was early in that game. He goes 2-0 in the playoffs before the NFC Championship game. I thought he made really nice adjustments on the fly against the Seattle Seahawks in the wild card round after he was a little bit wobbly early in his first playoff start. Against the Dallas Cowboys, very good defense, but the defensive line that overwhelmed San Francisco's offensive line. Purdy once again started to find a groove late in that game and made some really big plays and throws late to lead the Niners down the field as San Francisco is able to take the lead and punch their ticket to the NFC Championship game for the second consecutive year. In the regular season, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions as a starter. He threw 1 interception coming in relief effort against the Kansas City Chiefs. So 13 touchdowns, 4 picks in the regular season. Then he made some of those aforementioned strides and adjustments in the playoffs and caught the league by surprise and really, really impressed the coaching staff as well as his teammates. When I was at Super Bowl Radio Row and I was putting some feelers out there, what's going to happen with Lance? Because he was there. Tried to track him down for an interview, but his agent just didn't open himself up to some of the conversations with the local media, and I was asking about what the 49ers thought of Brock Purdy. Everybody who I spoke with said that the organization overwhelmingly was so pleased and so impressed with how Purdy carried himself. That's the coaching staff as well as some of the players, and the development that they saw took place and the future outlook for him as a starting quarterback in the NFL. So San Francisco really, really impressed with how Purdy was able to play, and with Trey Lance, we simply haven't seen him enough. So is the patience diminishing for Lance because he's only been able to start really 3 games and change because he started that 4th game against the Seattle Seahawks before he got injured? And going all the way back to 2019 at North Dakota State, he has started at North Dakota State combined in the NFL 21 games. And this is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations and a Super Bowl ready roster. Can they afford to give Trey Lance the time and the necessary reps for him to develop? Now, I think it would be smart and wise to tap into that potential, give him every single rep throughout this offseason to see what he can do, and then maybe explore to trade a little bit later. But if the 49ers are sold on the fact that Purdy's rehab is coming along well, that he is the future, what really is the point of having Lance on this roster right now and moving into the future if they think that Purdy is going to be the guy regardless? Another reason why the Niners might trade Trey Lance: they don't have a pick until 99 overall in the NFL draft. That's the end of the third round. In trading Lance, they could recoup some of that lost draft capital with the Christian McCaffrey trade and the Lance trade to move up into the second round or early in the third round to get a player that they really covet. And if the 49ers believe that Purdy is their future, they can free up some money and get some draft capital back. More to get to. Stay tuned. We're going to continue to rock it. First, today's poll question is this, though. Should the 49ers trade Trey Lance? Type T for trade, P for pass. Let me know down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the show coming across this for the first time. A couple of things here. Brock Purdy injury questions. It's a massive, massive concern. I understand that he got the Tommy John repair and not the full reconstruction, but he said himself in an interview with Yahoo Sports the other day, he's not sure if he's going to be able to play in 2023 or not. Purdy also, as a quarterback prospect and player, does have a clear ceiling, whereas Trey Lance has boatloads of potential. Is he raw? Is he inexperienced? Have there been some wrinkles along the way and frustrations from the fans as well as the coaching staff? For sure. He simply, though, hasn't been able to show it enough if he can fully be that guy that the 49ers envision him being when they moved up to number 3 to take him in 2021. And is the 49ers patience running out? Maybe. Personally, I'd love to see Lance and what he's able to do, but do the 49ers have time to allot that development with a Super Bowl ready roster? And you might be saying, well, Trey Lance is going into year 3, Brock Purdy into year 2, but Purdy has already started double the games that Trey Lance has been able to start so far in their respective NFL careers. As for why teams might be interested in Lance, he's young. He's 6'4". He's 225. He turns 23 in May. He has mobility, which is what teams look for in a quarterback nowadays in today's NFL. Really strong arm. If you go back and watch the games, I do think that he was able to display a good pocket feel and good pocket mobility. He's also under team control for the next 3 years if you exercise this 5th-year option. And if he's able to become a very good quarterback for an affordable price, under team control for the next 3 years, that is attractive to an acquiring team who is inquiring about a Trey Lance trade. And he can be molded, ideally, for the acquiring organization into your franchise guy for a team that might have quarterback questions. And right now, Trey Lance is probably looked at as a better quarterback than a lot of options with what teams have right now. And if you look at this 2023 NFL draft class, I like Bryce Young by far and away more so than any other quarterback in this draft class. So I wouldn't take Trey Lance over Bryce Young, but would you gamble and take Trey Lance over C.J. Stroud? I'd at least think about it. Would you take him over Anthony Richardson? Maybe. Would you take him over Will Levis? I would. And then you have a guy like Hendon Hooker who's coming off a torn ACL. I understand that Trey Lance coming off an injury as well, but the point here being is that if Lance were to get drafted in this draft class, and keep in mind, he's still a couple years younger than a guy like Stetson Bennett, who's already in his mid-20s, Trey Lance only 22, you're basically acquiring a guy who is as old or younger than a lot of these quarterback prospects in this draft class and might be more talented and can be molded into that guy. Also, let's get to this. The 49ers draft outlook. The 49ers are interested in drafting a quarterback. So if they trade Lance, you still have Purdy, you still have Sam Darnold, then you have that rookie quarterback as well. The Niners have serious interest in Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA. They met with him at the NFL Scouting Combine. They had a private workout with him. They brought him in for a pre-draft visit. I think that's pretty telling. Jake Haener out of Fresno State was also at the Niners local pro day last week. So too was Tanner McKee out of Stanford. Stetson Bennett could be available late. There are some concerns with his pre-draft arrest. I don't really have many of those concerns. There are some concerns with his age, but honestly, I think people put too much into that because if you bring him in and he can be a solid option for you as a spot starter, or a backup for the next 5 to 7 years, who cares about his age when over that span he's still in his mid to late 20s, will go into his early 30s, has won 2 national championships at Georgia, and I think does a lot of the same things that Brock Purdy can do. So those are the draft options for San Francisco in the draft, whereas if they trade Trey Lance, you still have Purdy, you still have Sam Darnold, who started a lot of games in this league and still has some potential in this scheme with this coaching staff, and then you have a rookie quarterback as well as part of that quarterback room. So that's really the macro perspective, and I'm trying to take you inside the potential thinking for San Francisco here if they were to trade away Trey Lance. Think about it, right? If they think Purdy can be their guy, does it make a lot of sense to have Lance on this roster? You can save some money and get some draft capital back and also draft a quarterback as well. Going to continue to break all of this down here on the 49ers Report in the days to come. If anything else happens, of course, we're going to let you know. And subscribe. Great draft content, great free agency content, offseason content. Now that I'm back from vacation, back on the grind, giving you videos every single day. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on the 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time here on the show. Hope you all have a great Wednesday.